What's up? Wayne Barron here with DarkEffects.net, and we are inside of Adobe Edge Animate CC 2015. However, what I'm going to be showing you can be used in any version of Adobe Edge Animate. And this is what we're going to be doing, is that we click here and you can barely see these buttons down here. So each one that you click on changes the information within our panel here. Come all the way back here to the very first one. It says click objects to show information about that object. So we click on each one of them, and then it jumps to that object's information inside of our panel. This would be really good if you're going to be having it on a website that you're going to be selling items, and also works very well for just showing people what you have on your website that is available. So let's go ahead and jump into it with a new composition. We want to go ahead and add in our first element, and this is going to be our bar. And let's come over here and let's change some information about our bar. We want to set our y-axis at 58, and then our x, and then our y is going to be 361, and then our width is going to be 434, and then our height is going to be 4. So this one right here is going to be named our bar. Okay, so now the next thing we want to do is that we want to add in our information box, and we want to set it to 64, 44, and then 422 and 298. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to change this all the way down and then set this at 2. And this right here will give us a nice border around our information box. Come over here and let's add in a text element, and do not add no text to it. We're just going to leave it like that. I'm going to change this to info box. Okay, so we need to add in our information about our bar. We want to add in our elements. So first thing is that we want to come over and jump to 150. Drag this down here. So let's go ahead and add in our ellipse. Okay, and we want to set this to 11 and 12. And whoa. Let's try that again. 11. There she goes. Okay. Okay, now let's go ahead and bring this down to where it's level. So we want to have everything level. This right here is going to be our ellipse 0. So now let's come over here. We want to drag it into our bar. So it's going to be a child of our bar. And we're going to duplicate this 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So let's come over here. Let's rename 1, and then the rest of them is going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And with each one of these, we want to select our 0 first. We want to set the following coordinates of them. We're going to leave everything the same, except we're going to change our x-axis. We're going to set this one at 49. And then our 1 is going to be set to 67. And then our 2 is going to be set to 136. Our 3 is going to be set to 207. Our 4 is going to be set to 312. Our 5 is going to be set to 402. And then our 6 is going to be set to 485. Okay, so it should look like this. Everything should be uniformed. Okay, so now what we want to do is that we want to add in a stop. So let's go ahead and do that. And so this is our stop right here. Go ahead and get rid of anything that is not needed. That's going to be the stop at our beginning. Let's come right here. We want to add in a label, Control or Command L, and this is going to be 0. And then let's go to the 1, and we want a label for each one of our numbers, and it's going to be named that number. Okay, so now let's come over here. Let's grab a hold of our stop. We want to add our stop in to, let's do it at 555. Add in a stop, and then we want to come right here. We want to change this to 134 and add a stop there. Do the same thing on this one. Okay, next thing we want to do is double click and then drag this all the way back to 0. We want to come over here and we want to set our, go ahead and click this to unlink it, and we want to set this to 1. Okay, so now this is the way it will look. Okay. Alright, so next thing we want to do is that we want to go to each area and we want to set it. So we want to come all the way out to our stop right here, and we want to drag this back. So this is our 1. So we want to drag it back and have it stop right there in the center. So let's drag this all the way back to the center, and then come over here to our 2, go to the stop, and then we want to do the same thing. Do this for the rest of them. Okay, so it should look like this. It goes to, from the 0, goes to the 1, and it stops right in the middle. Goes to the 2, stops in the middle, right there. The 3, 4, 5, and then the 6 is where everything stops at. Let's go ahead and save our project. Okay, now what we want to do is that we want to come out and we want to change the color of everything here. So I've already got a color which is an orange. And so what we want to do is that we want to select here and change our color to an orange. Okay, if you didn't see that, it is 248.101.1.00. Okay, and then we want to do the same thing to each one of our buttons here. We want to set them all to orange as well. Now, okay, so our next thing that we want to do, let's go ahead and bring this up a little bit, is that we want to dive deep inside of our timeline here. Okay, so let's try that one more time. Okay, so let's drag this out to here, and this is going to just be a real simple change for each one of these. So we're going to select our 1. We're going to create a keyframe on the opacity and on the color. I have another color that I want to change these to, so we're going to come all the way back here. So we're stopping at this one at the stop, and then we're going to drag it all the way back here to this mark right here. Okay, so about 875, give or take. So then we're going to come over here, we're going to change this to 15, and then we're going to change the color to 5252243.1.00. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing to each one of the rest of them. So we're going to select our next one, come over to here, stop it right there, and do the same thing. Set a keyframe, and then drag it back to here, and then set it at 15, and then change our color. Okay, so you want to do the same thing for all of these. And our last one, and now all of them are set with the colors that we wanted them to be. So now we can come over here and drag out and get back to the size of our timeline that we need it to be. So let's come over here and we want to select our very first object, which is our ellipse 0. Click on open action, click playback, play from, stage, and then we want to type in 0. Okay, we also want to change, let's go ahead and remove what is not needed. We also want to do a hide show. We want to do a show. Click on it and click stage and click text. Once again, get rid of what's not needed. And then we also want to add in the following text. Change that. And then we're going to add this in for click on the buttons below. We want to break down to the next line to show its information. Okay. So now with all this, basically just want to copy this out, come over here and then select our ellipse 1. Click, paste this in, change this to 1, and then number 1, information for this object number 1. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy this out and then click on 2, click, paste, change this to 2, and then change it to number 2. Do this for the rest of them. Okay, and so now let's go ahead and run it. Bring this over here. Then we should be able to click on each one of these. Shows the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can jump to either one of these, and it shows each one of them. And then we should be able to also click on the 0, click on the buttons below to show its information, and then like so. Okay, that is basically all there is to it. I hope that this does help you out somewhat. Like I said, this would be really good on a website where you're selling items, and then you can have it to where people can click to show which item. Okay, Wayne Barron here with DarkFX.net. Y'all have a good one now. Bye-bye.